It's 9 o'clock. Could we all stand and join us for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Monday, June 30th, 2025 meeting as written?
So moved. I'll second.
Been moved by Abendroth and seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So, let's see, I guess that's the only one we've got prior to the meeting starting here. I guess Housing Authority Director Rhonda Gilbert waived landfill fees.
Oh, okay. I have one of the
Okay. Good morning. We got another one we need to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had a request from Orville and Wanda or Susie Beatty for this structure at 1022 Hudson Street here in Burlington. I think several people have tried to kind of fix this house up, and as you can see, it's kind of stalled.
Looks like they failed.
And so they are wanting to tear that down, maybe in the future, putting something up, but not at this time. It is located next to a daycare, so it definitely is something that probably needs to come in.
We've had multiple training in here for the fire department. The inside of this thing is just, it's in bad shape. So I would make a motion to waive landfill fees for this structure.
Okay, I have a motion from Abendroth to waive the landfill fees for a structure owned by Orville and Wanda Susie Beatty, located at 1022 Hudson, Burlington, Kansas. Do I have a second? Peterson has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank
passes.
you.
Knock her down. Okay. Okay. Okay, should we wait till after we talk to them? Okay?
So let's go ahead and call
Yeah. Okay. Waverly FBLA. Good morning.
I'm Clayton, and we just wanted to say thank you for supporting us on our trip to California. We had lots of fun, and we definitely learned a lot for us being most of our first times going. So we just wanted to say thank you, and we had a couple gifts for a couple of you. Someone make sure Mr. Bowie gets this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting us.
Thank God. Well, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
I was trying to read, we learned a lot.
Good morning. Good firm handshake. Good for you, young man.
I have terrible grip strength, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
This is all.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I thought you said
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, Kelly.
Okay. Planning and Zoning Administrator Heidi Harris, Comprehensive Plan Update. Good morning, Heidi.
Good morning, Coffee County Commissioners.
Morning.
So, we're going to start with this lovely big heavy poster I'm holding. So, we have 4 more just like this back in my office. I figured if you're okay with it, we could post this one downstairs on this side of the guard shack if we could. And if that's okay with Angie, too, as well. Just they'll promote it here, and then 3 more. I don't know where you guys want to put those, but this is what they look like. So they're to promote our town hall meetings. So
Where would you suggest, Heidi? I mean, do you have any ideas where you want?
No, because they gave me flyers that are about to be 8.5 by 14 that I was taking down to the businesses to post in there and ask them to do that. So I'm not sure where else to put these. I mean, there's not enough to put in every library, so I don't wanna just give to a couple and not give to the rest. So, but, you wanna think about it and let me know? At least I put one up somewhere.
Okay.
That's that, so, that's it. And of course, at the bottom it has our survey, the bottom it has the survey location and the website to our comprehensive plan as well. So, you can see that. Oh, and then the other thing is, this is actually Leroy, and then this one's Leroy, Lake, obviously, Burlington Hospital, and then that one, I can't remember, the corner in front of the city, I don't remember which one this one was here.
Is that Leroy?
Leroy?
Yeah,
Leroy?
I think
That's
that's
Bryson Meats' new building.
Alright, so then
Yeah.
Leroy, so I guess you
Yeah.
have 3 Leroys and then,
on the west side there, Leroy.
Let's say if you did wanna put them in the libraries, I mean, after Lebo and Gridley's done, you could take them from that library and
Okay.
put them in
Yeah, that-
Burlington and.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Put them where the meetings are gonna be first, yeah.
okay, so we got 4 of them, so I can do that. I'll do that. Okay,
Great.
so, next thing on the agenda with me is postcards. These were all mailed out on the 2nd and 3rd. The zip code of 66839, there was 2,000 of these sent out, so every office here in the courthouse got one, because obviously I got one, plus home addresses and all that good stuff. I don't know the logistics on the other cities. He only gave me 66839. Okay, and
Believe it or
then,
not, I did get one in the mail.
Yeah.
We got one.
Yeah, I did too.
the ones from Gridley and Waverly went out on the 2nd, and then the other 2 zip codes went out on the 3rd. So, focus groups are gonna be held in my office next week already. It's finally here, 14th through
Next-
the 18th. And so during that day, my office is going to be closed to the public, so that way I can help out with those focus groups, make sure people are in there, and then be able to listen to what we're getting also. But, they can call me or email me, your constituents can, and I will, try to respond during those days if I can. Otherwise, I'll respond as soon as I can. So the 4 town hall meetings, I figured I'd just say what they are. They're all gonna, so the first round, they're all gonna start at 6. So Monday the 14th will be in Lebo at the Community Center building. Tuesday the 15th will be in Gridley at their Community Center building. Wednesday, July 16th will be in Leroy at their Community Center building. And Thursday the 17th will be in New Strand at their Community Center building. And then our consultants are going to return on the following dates to complete the other 2 town hall meetings. That will also start at 6 p.m. And that one will be the 29th of July, will be in Burlington at the Burlington Library. And then Wednesday the 30th in Waverly at their community building. So what are the town hall meetings gonna cover? They're gonna cover all the same material, offer a brief presentation and opportunities to discuss future growth and development in Coffee County. The meetings will also cover county-wide issues concerning opportunities and challenges for development focusing on rural areas. And then the community survey is also available on the website. And the website is https://tinyurl.com/coffeecountycompplan. So that is, surveys are also going to be available in the planning and zoning office, economic development office, the county clerk's office, and all of the 6 libraries here. And you can just drop them off at those places, and then they will get back to my office that way. So you don't have to worry about bringing it back to the courthouse if you're at the library and you want to fill it out there. So, want to give everybody the opportunity, so if you couldn't get on the computer for whatever reason, you could go pick it up and take it back, so.
I'm curious, what kind of results have you seen so far on the online surveys? I mean, or do you have any numbers on that?
They said, we had about 24 taken about 2 weeks after the survey was live. So they said that was a really good turnout for just word of mouth, just me telling people and people telling other people. So that was a really good, I have not
I was
asked
just
them
curious.
lately. I am going to visit with them tomorrow, because we're going to plan for next week of when
Right.
they're here too. Because we are doing the on-camera interviews as well, so we're gonna set up at the Coffee County Lake for those, and then the people know. already who I'd like to have help with that. But if anybody else wants to be part of a focus group, they're more than willing and able to call my office or contact me, and I can be able to get them in there if they'd like to. I'm not saying that you can't come. I just don't know everybody, so if you want to come, feel free to give me a contact. Also, too, so the information on a flyer has the town hall meetings, has all the dates on it that I sent out to most of the businesses downtown of the other cities. Burlington I haven't completed yet. I got just a handful done on Thursday before I had to take care of some other business. But I plan to get the rest of Burlington today, so I plan to get all the rest of the businesses. But if I did miss somebody, if you want to contact me and let me know, I would happily give them a flyer. I just don't know all the businesses. I hate to say that in Coffee County, and so I don't want to miss anybody. So I'm going to place another ad for the town hall meetings in the paper, and it's going to be black and white this time, plus another press release. This press release is what Marvin Planning Consultants gave us, so I'm going to ask the paper to do another article on that, just to get everybody, since it's a week before, geared up, ready to go to come to our meetings.
Will it be posted on social media in any way?
Yes.
I mean,
So Ginny's completed an online Facebook page ad, and she's going to do another one that's going to start this coming Thursday and go a week, and then that will get through us all the town hall meetings for the next week. That Facebook posting that she posted reached 3,975 people. It was clicked on 209 times, so it takes you to the website if you click on it. 4 people saved it, and then we had 3 comments on the post. And that is all I had. I just wanted to let everybody know it's coming up, and just to invite all of our citizens to come and participate and let us know how they feel about stuff in Coffee County, so we can get a good plan.
and that's the purpose, so hopefully
Yes.
we have.
That is the purpose, so we can have a good plan to help you guys or in future commissions be able to do projects, capital improvement ones, or to be able to help bring in other businesses. So thank you so much for your time today. Do you have any more questions?
I don't know if you guys know, but she went to a meeting down in Iowa and ended up with $500.
So, I had asked Mike if I could go down to an advertising meeting, and what it did was allow us to get $500 free airtime. So Jeannie and I are working on an advertisement to put on the radio too, that I'm planning to have go out this week as well.
Very good.
So, but yes, I got $500 free for me going to attend that, so
Great.
for a little bit of time,
Very good.
got some free money,
All right.
so.
Well worth it.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Alright, you guys have a good day.
Thanks, Hank.
Thank you. Anything else we need to sign, anything today, Angie?
Oh, we do have some special issues here.
Hold on for a minute, maybe here.
I was just here for moral support for Heidi since I've been helping, but if you guys don't need anything else from me today, I'm gonna head back down to my office.
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Jenny, when was your trip to Atlanta? Did you get a date on it?
Yes, that is coming up in a couple weeks. That'll be July 23rd.
July 23rd?
Yeah.
Just 2 days.
Yeah, so the event is just one day, so I'm just going like up and back.
Okay.
Try to like minimize my time for you guys.
one quick.
But if you guys, if anybody wants more information about it, I can send you what they sent me, regarding who will be there.
Glad to see you going.
Thank you. And you guys let me know if you need anything else from me. I'll be
Okay.
downstairs.
Thank you, thank you. No, come on up, we go through that time.
Okay, just a quick update. Up to 24th and Iris is where we've had a beneficial use land application. And back on June 20th, we had our friend had me come up, and we looked at the water that was coming out to the Aurora Quarry pit. And it had some sludge worms, and then also it had a little more film on it than what he said was normal, and I was able to get KDHE to come down that day and take a look at it. And then KDHE and I went across to the land disposal area and took a look how they was applying the liquid to the land. And anyway, what came out of it was, KDHE wasn't really worried about the sludge worms, and I can see their viewpoint on that, and our friend was okay with that, but they decided not to sample the water that was coming out. They didn't see it as a problem at the time, because they had only seen what had been applied up there for 10 days, and they didn't think the geology would allow it to happen. But they are talking about up there, the geology meaning the fractured limestone below it. But they're supposed to get back in touch with us as far as what they think is if it is a definite risk or not, with the geology up there, as far as fractured limestone, the application of the waste, and that they want to make sure and observe and re-talk over what they got going with that. They're going to get back in touch with us.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry, Carl, where was that at?
24th and Irish, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then up there, as far as McNabb's site, they're still working up there, and so far they're doing a great job up there.
That's good.
Any other questions?
Good to monitor it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Carl.
I'll just,
Be done properly.
Mike, I'll do this, I'm gonna hand you goes into that.
Okay.
It's nothing wrong with being a
Not at all. I wonder if, I should be short.
Do you want me to get Connie and have her come on down? Or?
Yes.
There wasn't even very many.
We're not,
How did I miss that?
we're not letting you go by me today. And then when you're done,
Oh, good. Oh, I missed a big one on that one.
Maybe a few messages when I pay.
So what?
it's on Maribel's roof.
Morning, Wade.
Good morning.
That's from FBLA, the kids that came in and played.
Did they win?
Well, no, but they had a good tough one.
Said they learned a lot.
It was a good experience for them.
Good.
Yeah, California.
Connie?
How are you?
That's all right.
Good.
And how are you?
I'm here. Till Monday.
That's good, that is Monday.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing okay. How about you today?
I was going to see if I could do a 15-minute executive session with you all on the way for personnel salary.
Okay. Okay. I will make a motion to enter into executive session for 15 minutes to include each of the commissioners, County Councilor Wade Bowie, and Appraiser Connie Lawrence to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel related to salary under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 754319B1.
I'll make that motion.
I think he motioned already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll second.
There's been motion, Thompson's moved, and McCurry seconded. I messed up the
Oh,
program.
no, you didn't.
You messed me up.
It's Monday morning.
Any further discussion?
Can I maybe ask for a clarification, is this job performance related?
My salary.
Okay. So, I think that's job performance related.
That okay? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go in at 9:23.
Money.
I know things are a little short this year, and when I first came here, I had a GIS account that I had like $60-some thousand in. We use that money to fly for aerial photography, which we haven't had to do. Usually any of my money I have left over at the end of the year, I try to put some money in there. Long story short, that account now has $688,000 in it. I know there's been some stuff taken out, and I need to take some money out for GIS software. I would like to at least keep $150,000 in there if you guys need that money for something else.
That's what I was gonna ask, what you need to,
Yeah.
you know.
We used to go to conferences to keep up with the programs that we're using once a year. We haven't done that for several years. We might just go back to, if we can, do like maybe every 2 or 3 years, go for an update. But other than that, with us not having to fly, we've been getting our air photography from the ASCS office. They fly every year, so we've been using that photography. Was just putting that out there if you guys need that for some reason.
So I didn't hear you there to go to conferences in state, is that?
You know, that was out of state when we went. It's
Right,
a program that we use.
But now,
They're always in California, the Esri conference.
I see.
And we haven't gone for a long time, but,
Connie,
just
what was
throwing
that?
that out,
I'm sorry. What was that number you gave?
688.
$688,000.
So with 150 left in, it's $538,000.
So I was gonna see if I keep, if you guys need like $500,000 of that, then I should keep it.
Well, it was $150,000 enough.
So if you,
It's costing me about, right now, a little over $14,000 to keep that software, the agreement that we have every year to keep that up.
so do you have other sources for the aerial photographs now? Or is there?
We're still using the ASCS office's photography. If we have to fly, it's usually a little over 100,000, so I'd like to keep that in just in case.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, what that would cost if you needed to do
The last time it
that.
was like 120,000.
So ASCS does it every year, is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
We've been using theirs.
Okay.
Just bring that up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Consider.
Okay, so we have this
Well,
agreement on here, and then I discussed with her, and she said I didn't track it, where to receive from.
Okay.
And wait for you to,
You've looked at this agreement as Connie's then
Yes, should be, or there was a
with
sticky note on it.
Yeah, I got it.
McCully and Associates.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The one unique feature is they'll bill monthly, so there's a set final cost that they'll bill monthly, so, just so you don't make a motion to pay it all up front.
Okay, okay. And that's part of part of what Angie has here. So we have a motion to approve the consulting agreement for the 2026 valuation year with McCauley and Associates, with the county providing sufficient staff for data collection needs and adequate access to the Orion files and information in the total amount of $20,500 to be billed monthly at a rate of $1,708.33, and will provide a monthly progress report. Funds to come from the general fund, appraiser department, contractual line item.
I'll make that motion.
I've got a question for going through with this. Is this entire McCauley and Associates, are they, everything based out of Louisville, or is there anything in the state of Kansas?
They have, his son lives in the state and he takes care of a lot of the announcements.
Because everything was addressed to Louisville.
The dad is in another state, the son is here in Kansas.
So you got direct contact with him in the state of Kansas. Thank you.
Okay, McCurry moved, do I have a second?
A second.
Been moved by McCurry, seconded by Abendroth. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So, is there something I must sign?
Yeah, page 5.
Okay.
No, I might have to sign, I'm not sure. Yes.
Okay.
It'll go around.
Good?
I'm just putting above your signatures, this agreement was accepted. I'm writing in the 7th day of July.
Okay. All right. Department heads, budget discussion.
Before we start budget, this is budget discussion, but where we left off at our last meeting, our auditor was plugging in the numbers and without cutting anything, said that our budget would basically require 63.254 mils to fund, and our revenue neutral rate would be 51.938. And by the time when we left Monday, we had it down to 56.06 mils, which was just a little bit more than as far as the mills last year. But if we were going to go with a 4% increase, which that's kind of what I discussed about having a CPI figure, an increase in the budget rather than stay with the revenue neutral rate. Thought 4% might be reasonable. That would take us to 54 mills. So the difference between 54 mills and 56.06 mills is $1.4 million. That's what we're trying to cut to get down to 54 mills.
I thought we were at 55,092.
Well, we might be. I had figures written all over the place. But I think that's what we were.
Or maybe I'm,
I don't see that figure anywhere. But
I don't know. I've had some made notes in many different places now.
That's the last figure I had written down.
Which figure?
I had 56.06 mils.
That's what I have as the last one.
And
5606, is that what you?
yeah, 56.06.
I had it scratched down to 55.09.
Yeah, that's what I thought, we were down to 5509 after.
After the last minute things that we did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that figured in with the new budgets that we all?
Well, that might have been if we cut 1% from the budgets. That might have been what that figure was.
I think
That
that's
was.
correct, because that was our last
Yeah.
calculation, I believe, with that figured in.
Yeah.
I cut more than, cut like 2.5%.
About 2.5, didn't you? I want to,
Very good. Thank you.
so did anyone have concerns about that?
But if we cut the 1%.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure, because that's what this time was set aside for, and I want to thank all the department heads for taking that action and trying to help out here on the budget. It's appreciated very much.
You guys are still looking for more though? I mean, you guys to revenue neutral?
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be nice, but
Well,
I mean, yeah, we're looking for more, but
Well, I mean, if you guys need more, we can look
But-
at projects and stuff that we have.
is that taking into consideration what Connie?
No, if we take some from that fund, that would help cut that down.
Yeah.
538,000.
538,
Yeah.
unless we talked about keeping it whatever.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
at
We did
500.
that, and then the 1%.
saving that for that airport.
Say what, Mark?
Sorry. If we take Connie's out, then that leaves us at $854,943. That doesn't include the 1% that we were talking about.
So if we, Mike, as Mike mentioned, we're thinking we might need that money from Connie, possibly for the airport road up there.
To finish that frontage road.
Oh, dollar-wise, what was the 1% equal to?
59,000 to bring it below 56 mils.
And that's where it came up with a 5509 or 5592 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you'll have more than that with everyone cutting, if you decide to go that route. Richard talked to Emily, and there's another 100,000 he thought he could put in to help with
Oh,
interest
fine.
that will be received.
From interest rates.
And she said, we'll probably get more, and so I started sending her numbers of the 1%, and then she said, well, is the commission gonna still wanna do the 1%, or just take the 100,000 in interest, or do both? And so I kind of stopped, because I was like, I don't know what to do now,
Yeah.
so. But I have still been collecting from all department heads, and
Well, with having some projects kind of like that road, that we're not totally certain about. I'd like to, do all we can do to keep the 1%. And it's my thought. And, last year, we pulled a bunch out of savings and out of accounts and out of projects, road and bridge. Nobody hates taxes any worse than I do, but I don't think that's the answer to deplete. These savings were put there so we're prepared for a catastrophe, and, a small one anyhow.
Yeah.
And I don't think depleting everything out of our accounts
Is the answer.
answer.
Because somewhere down the line, it's gonna come back and bite.
Yeah.
It just will.
The taxpayers taking a big hit this year with property appraisal.
They are.
And then they add a couple of mills to it. Somebody said the other day, well, mill's only $11.50 per thousand, but every house it seems around here is $100,000. So that adds up.
Be $11 for every 100,000.
$11.50 for every 100,000.
Yeah, that every 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, it's not thousand. But still, there's a line there that you gotta, if the evaluations had been down, that would have been increase in mills.
Angie got me some figures of comparing the urban taxes, roughly 50,367,000 on, you might say, would that be housing basically?
Yeah, urban, so any towns and cities,
Yeah.
but your rural.
Compared to your property taxes out in the county, your rural money, 625 million, compared to 50 million that's basically urban in your cities. And that's, ag land actually went down a little bit, am I correct? So that's what's making this more difficult. I mean, if ag land would have went up like housing did, then we'd be lower in the mill compared to last year. Am I thinking right? But that didn't happen. Of course, that's, ag land went boom, boom, boom. It's just doubled in a matter of a decade. And now that's finally taking a little correction. So that is unfortunate that for the homeowners, that the housing market hasn't done that yet. The valuation the sales have gone up, so that's what it's based on, is sales.
And they're also hit with the insurance going through the roof.
Sure.
Too, so.
Yeah, I
Sure,
mean, this
but
is one.
That's not our
This is
deal,
one
though.
smaller. This is one small piece of the pie, though, that does affect them. I understand that, and I feel for situation of people. In my mind, the people that are older and unable to work and on a fixed income. That's the people that's the biggest crunch here in my mind.
That's why I think the revenue neutral rate going year after year is unsustainable. But doing a modest increase like the 4%, and that's closer to what people were getting. Anybody on fixed income, Social Security, that's close to what
they would be seeing. Yeah, I agree. Rather than
I'd like to try to at least get down to the 4%.
what would that put us at?
54 mils.
I see.
Well, after taking Connie's out and then in the 1%, and you're just over one more mil to try to get rid of.
But if we take Connie's out, then what happens if we need the money to finish out the road project? I mean, it's gotta come from somewhere, right?
And the mill is what, 160?
1 mil, $676,186.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
676,000.
Okay.
So Angie, with the numbers that you've got so far, what does that take us?
Well, I don't really know, because I started sending those to Emily,
To Emily?
and she said, does the commission want to just use the $100,000 in interest, which would bring your mill down, or do they want to go ahead and do the 1%, or do both, you know, with the interest and the 1%? And I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, let's wait and see what they say Monday, today.
So if we did the interest plus the 1%, you've already got the numbers from the departments.
Yes.
So all you need, so what needs to happen then?
Then I just need to tell her that you guys want to do the interest and the 1% if that's what you want to do, and see what that number comes back as.
I'd like to see what that number is if.
Okay. Okay. So I will go ahead and send those new numbers to her with those changes and have her send back a report. And maybe what I can do is email it out to you, because it probably won't be today. I don't know how long should it be today.
If I'm figuring right, it's Connie's money, that $538,000, the $100,000 interest, and $59,000 from the 1 mil reduction, then it's gonna put you probably really close to 55 mils.
It would. But then the question is with the airport access road that they approved last fall, it's roughly gonna be $780,000, and you guys did not, well, not all of you were here then, but last fall, there was no mention of where it was to be paid from. So, I don't know if you wanna take it out of Community Improvement Reserve Fund, or if you wanna, we don't have capital improvement this year because you guys cut that last year, not you guys, but the other previous commissioners cut that last year, so. Or you could use Connie's money this year to pay for the airport access road, part of it. You'd still have to probably take $280,000 roughly out of Community Improvement Reserve. If you wanted to take it all out of Community Improvement Reserve, then yes, FIRST funds could help lower it even more for this next year. But I would say at the end of this year, you probably want to plan on putting any leftover monies, if there is any or whatever, into your capital improvement reserve, because it's got to be funded to carry forward for all your bigger, the radios and all that kind of stuff added to, plus the landfill.
So the county, I'm sorry, the community improvement reserve is showing like 3.8, is that right?
Right.
If I can interject a number, you're still gonna have some money left over to pay NPC next year for the comp plan too. I don't know how much.
Say that again, Heidi.
Marvin Planning Consultants, that contract won't finish till next year, so you'll have about probably 40-ish thousand left to pay
To
for
finish
that
that.
too. Yeah, which is
In
coming out of the
26.
Community Improvement Capital Outlay Fund, I believe. So I just wanted to bring that up. Roughly,
Yeah.
you'll have that much left over next year.
Right. So this community improvement, how's that funded? I mean, how's money getting there?
We've been taking any leftover funds at the end of the year and moving it into there, so that you would have it for unexpected things that
Okay.
happen.
Okay,
But we gotta keep this one up.
yeah, right, get a capital improvement.
And I think your equipment reserve is pretty good right now. We haven't spent anything out of it, so.
Which capital improvement fund did you say was eliminated last year?
It's general fund capital outlay.
General
We usually carried about 1.25 in that every year. And then we use that to transfer out, but we eliminated that last year to cut the mill levy, so we won't have that.
This year, I mean, the capital improvement fund itself is 7.4 now, which.
That's only about 3
Do
years.
radios come out of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We changed that capital improvement plan. If you guys wanna see that here, you're gonna have about estimated $750,000 every year. And then a big, landfill construction in 2028 is what's planned.
I think the towers, the new towers.
Towers are in there too.
Got my signature on it, I must know.
I think you probably have it here.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
right there.
Oh, there's another copy.
But I think right now that fund is only funded out for 3 years, and it's probably a good idea to have it more than that if you can.
Angie, going back in time a couple years, maybe 3 years, but $10 million for the jail was pulled from these reserve funds to help pay for $10 million upfront. And by having these reserves that, in essence, save $10 million worth of bond payments are only now going to be on 20. Where that $10 million, it was taken from a number of different pools of reserve money. Do you remember which ones?
Well, largely risk management reserve had, I think we put in almost $6 million from it, and then $4 million we took from, I think it was split up over community improvement. I don't know. I think we took what we would have put into maybe solid waste closure care and put some of that in there. Maybe any leftover funds that we would have transferred out, we put into that. So we took the rest of that from the others, so.
And those funds have increased over time by going through that same exercise at the end of the year, taking any reserves, placing them into or any extra money, putting them into the reserves, and that was one beneficial use of that money, that $10 million potentially wouldn't have been there.
Right.
If those decisions would have
And
been made.
accumulated.
And then that's $10 million off of a $30 million project that's covered already.
Right.
So to get to 54 mils, how much more do we need to cut?
Well, I mean, we could be,
1.4 million.
we may not quite get to the 54 mil,
I don't see how
to
we
be
can
honest,
get, I don't see how we can get to the 54.
but you'll definitely be below 56, somewhere in the middle of 55. 55.3 maybe, I don't really know until we plug the rest of these in,
Okay.
but, or 55.2, somewhere in there. And again, that is if you want to use that GIS money for next year's budget. If you want to use it for this year to pay for that airport access, those are two decisions you'll have to make. If you want to pay for it this year, then it won't be out of next year's budget and won't help reduce that more.
Yeah.
Or you can take out of community improvement reserve this year, what's in reserve, and it'll reduce that down to about $3 million. But just know, we may not have much to put into that reserve at the end of this year. It needs to go in capital improvement reserve. Pretty much everything, if we can, needs to go into capital improvement.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe that'd be workable to do that. We didn't do any increase last year. Maybe if we stayed with that, did that for this year, take another modest increase next year, maybe we can, like you stated, other people have stated, is if we do a little bit at a time rather than you stop and you got the recoil like we're dealing with this year, you know.
Yeah, I've always said it's easier to, just in what I've seen over the years, to do a little increase. You know, you see it on your utilities, you see it on many things at the store or wherever, than to say, oh, I'm gonna be the good guy, we're gonna lower it down $50 this year, but then next year you gotta pay $150 because you gotta make up what the cut and then add it on, and that's hard for people.
Right.
And
It's a lot easier on the gradual.
unfortunately, everybody's also got cities to deal with as far as increases and school districts that are all unknowns also.
Right.
As far as the county, next year, we'll have a better idea on the jail, and hopefully that will help the budget a little bit.
Yeah, we've got some things hanging out there right now that we don't know.
Too many unknowns.
Yeah, to get down to the wire on this, or it seems that way to me.
Hospital board seems to be a little bit optimistic about next year too, and that might help also.
Yeah.
How much did you say we had to quit on to get down there with $1 million?
If you wanted to get to 54 mils, it's about 1.4 million. With everything we're talking about now, between Connie,
Yeah.
100,000 interest, and the 1% shaved off of everybody's budget, then you're down to about 55 mils.
There's some awful substantial amounts in some of these budgets. What if we pulled a little bit from, say, a couple $100,000 for each one of them to get close to that?
But we're already getting 1% back. I mean,
We are, yes.
I mean, that's already,
To get us closer to that, I'd really like to see us at revenue neutral after the increase in our property appraisals.
Well, and what I told you, the 54 mils,
right.
that's not
That's
revenue
not
neutral.
right.
That's 4% over.
But as close as we can get to.
Yeah. I don't see revenue neutral happening for a while.
Wasn't that 51? Revenue neutral, wasn't it 51?
51. Yeah, 51.
No way, I don't think you guys can do that.
Yeah.
You have to cut services and.
yeah. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't support that.
That day may come, I see us do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna support
To
that.
this 1 point.
I think
Or
we just.
yeah, it'd be quite a bit more.
It'd be more, well, it'd be about another 2 mils, so
Yeah.
it'd be about another
Almost 3. So that's, you can't cut on that much. I just think if it was $1 million, we could whittle a little bit, but not at 3 million. You can't
Yeah, it's just,
pull that much down.
yeah.
Do we start making bond payments next year for the jail?
I thought this year,
Is it this year? Do you recall where we were paying those from? I'm trying to think. I can't remember off the top of my head. You might need to check into that too.
yeah, I'd have to.
I want to make sure we've got that covered. Sorry, didn't mean to
No,
try to make you remember that, but I can't remember.
I'd have to ask probably Richard.
Yeah, he's gone right now. Emily may have an idea. I'll check with her too when I send all these numbers in. So, just so I understand what you want, you want to go ahead and use the 100,000 extra for interest, and then you want to go ahead and accept the 1% decrease from all departments and submit that to Emily, and I'll check on jail fund payments to make sure we have that covered. And is there anything else at this point?
The only other question I got is with Connie's GIS money,
Yeah, what are we gonna do with that? Is that gonna go towards 2026, or are you gonna use that for this
I
year?
tell you what, plug that number in,
Okay,
just to see what it would do,
okay,
if you don't mind.
Yep.
Cause that's 538,000.
Okay, with Connie's money in it.
With Connie's money in it, and just see where that number,
Yeah,
see
and
where that
then maybe
number.
we could
Smoke.
use our
No, right, I mean, that's the only way we're gonna know where exactly we stand, so
That'll get us close to 55 mils.
I mean,
you want more.
That'll get us close to 55 mils.
you pay for that road out of the community improvement reserve or
Does
Do
that
we
something.
know when that's due?
Pardon?
Do we know when that road payment is due?
I don't.
No,
Well,
I,
because that's the second phase of it, see, that won't be until
And there was some left over off that CDBG grant that covered
the first one.
the first part of it.
So, it'd be the second part, so that part that'd be the second phase of it.
Yeah. Yeah, last time I remember Dave was gonna go back to
So I guess
Kilo
you wanna
and
include
try to use that grant, the second half of it, the remainder of it,
Right, and so that, it would be that plus whatever,
plus the cost.
plus the cost, right.
I don't think we heard back from them.
I can't remember.
Since you have some department heads here, do you have any suggestions or concerns or anything, or just observing? Or?
So the 1% increase for the department, that's just from county support, correct?
Yes, from county support.
Okay, not reimbursables or grants or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Well, we wanna take a break and go do the walkthrough, or what's everybody wanna do? I guess we're kind of waiting to see where these numbers come back here. That kind of where we're at now, so I guess we can take a 10
oh,
minutes.
do you have a quick second? Because Ryan wants to give you a quick
Oh,
update.
sure.
Yeah, if you want, take a break first and then come back and we'll talk about the asphalt project around the courthouse and some issues we encountered last week.
Well, whichever you want to do, or if you want to do it now, that's fine. We didn't make you wait.
Alright.
You may wanna take a break.
It ain't that bad.
I mean, it's been,
Band-Aid's gonna get ripped off one way or another,
Yeah.
so.
This can change our figures we're talking about.
it's not that bad.
Okay, good. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So,
That way I get the break afterward.
there you go. So, yeah, so just to recap on that project, you know, we had 3 inches milled off that asphalt, and then we were going in, some isolated patching areas and going in deeper, with some patching. So we started that last week. So these photos here, that first photo on the left there, so that's where we went in. That was an area that was needing a little more patching. So they went in and milled that out. You can see what that asphalt did beside there. I mean, it's a subgrade issue. The subgrade underneath that asphalt was just totally trash. So you go on that second picture, you can kind of see we wound up. I mean, we couldn't lay new asphalt on top of what was there. That was,
Yeah.
I mean, especially that third picture, it kind of shows you what was underneath that road, and that's, you know, that's why there's been some issues over there for quite some time. So, you know, once we seen that, we kind of stopped, got with Wade, Mike come down, we kind of talked with Kilo and, to try to develop a plan on how to move forward over there, because, I mean, that subgrade was trash, the asphalt's falling apart, you know, we didn't want to put any good asphalt on top of that and just have it fall apart a year or two down the road. Wound up removing the remaining asphalt and then, over excavated the, subgrade and put in 6 inches of base rock. So that kind of shows you, you know, that's what's underneath the asphalt went in.
That looks better.
It just went.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the type base you needed to do it right. So there will be a change order coming on this. You know, estimated for that side is $35,000, not to exceed $35,000. You know, the county, we provided trucks, to haul the material off, try to save some there. We provided all the AB3, trucked the AB3 in for them, and so we kind of did what we could to offset some of that. You know, but that's the email that they give and numbers, you know, I'm estimating lower than that, but, we haven't got the asphalt tonnages in yet, for the extra asphalt there, but it's, you know, all that work should not exceed $35,000 over there. That takes care of that street.
With the grading of it, is it taking care of this, where this won't happen again?
Yeah.
So sure it's water coming from somewhere.
Well, yeah, and it was just, there was no base under that asphalt. And so if you look in that packet, go to the very last page, and so you can see here, this is along the jail over here.
Right.
Well, so this is what we were anticipating was underneath here. This is kind of where our cord was actually in this area, where you can see that brown, that's subgrade, that's good base there. So that's what we thought going into this project. That's what we thought we had across there. Once we started going down and milling out for that spot patching, I mean, that wasn't the case. It was just a absolute, I mean, muddy mess of it.
So it's been rectified.
Oh, yeah, no, this is, I mean, this is fixed right. I mean, it's gonna wind up with the, 6 inches of AB3 base and then 8 inches of asphalt on top of a good base. So that's, it's done right. It's done right. The street down here on the south, about half of it has been asphalted. The east end of that, we run into some similar type deals. So that's what they're working on now. I mean, you can kind of see where that, you know, after they asphalted that other street, did some work, how this was falling apart here. So we didn't want to asphalt that, so we held off. Going into a similar fix here, I mean, they're excavating out the asphalt right now, and we'll see what we got for a subgrade. It doesn't appear to be as bad as what was over there, but there were an initial estimate of around $19,000 for over here. A portion of that, $5,400 of that would be the school's responsibility. You know, it's looking like that's probably going to be a little less. I mean, if we don't have to go as aggressive on the subgrade and some of that over there, so. Still kind of figuring out what those numbers will be exactly, but, you know, the initial estimate was $19,000 on that.
So Ryan, if I remember right, that $5,400 extra from the school, is that on top of their
Yeah, that was on,
original
yes, that's correct.
10?
Yeah, the, 9,955 was originally the school, and then plus the additional 5,400 for the extra asphalt that's gonna take over there to make this right.
And Craig Marshall did come out and look at it one day with us, and
Good.
he was present, so he knows what's going on, and
Good deal.
Well, that's fine, I mean, it's gotta be fixed right. You don't wanna put a Band-Aid, you don't wanna put something on top of crap and
No,
have to deal with it 4 or 5 years down the road, so.
yeah, this was one of those deals, no one knew what was under there until you got to it.
Yeah.
Well, and that base will be there way on down the road, and it has to be done again. It won't require near as much.
Yeah.
Redo the surface with the
Right.
blacktop.
No, right.
Someone said what was there was put in the 80s,
Yeah.
so,
87, 88.
Yeah.
so decisions had to be made on the fly. And ideally, it would have been brought before you to make a decision. They were already mobilized, and that's why Ryan got with me and brought Mike in, and then actually had some other people who were also part of that think tank, and it had to be done right, so here you are.
They got a projected completion date?
Well, I mean, that asphalt's all laid and they're digging this out today. They should get base asphalt in, late today is their goal. And then hopefully finish out that asphalt tomorrow. It may be a little bit longer than that. I know some of the weather dependent. We'll see what the weather does.
Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah. I believe, once they get this completed, that there's a little bit of concrete drain, out in front of this street over here that we'll come in and do, but we would want to make sure this is done so there's access in, because that'll have to be shut down for a couple of days there for that concrete to cure.
Curbs?
Yeah, the curb will be part of that too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's, yeah, I mean, that's the update on that. I mean, if you guys have any more questions, I'll try to answer them, but.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess.
On its way to being fixed.
Yeah, this can be fixed right, so. Alright. That's all I had, so.
Thanks for dumping that onto your schedule.
Yeah, no problem.
How's your contract engineer deal working now?
Awesome. Yeah, very, very beneficial. I mean, I can't explain having somebody, you know, he comes down about one day a week, in office, and then he's still doing some stuff from home, that he can do from home, but, I mean, just to be able to sit down and go over projects and, questions that we have for him and have the immediate answer is very beneficial for us. One big thing we're working on now is for the comp plan, and just kind of our roads and our infrastructure, you know, projecting down the road, the needs and kind of the dollars that we're looking to keep our infrastructure up. Our bridge replacement program is going to be a big portion of that. You know, when you look at, you know, we have 236 bridges, and the lifespan on the bridge is 100 years, let's say. You know, really you should be replacing a couple bridges a year. You know, you're looking at $750,000, $800,000 conservatively for bridges. So, you know, if you're going to look at a 20-year plan and the dollar amount to go along with that, it's going to be pretty substantial. But just, you know, that asphalt roads is another one. You know, I think our list that we were looking at for next year, it would take about $7 million to asphalt everything I would like to asphalt. Obviously, we can't do that, you know, with the funds that we have, but just, you know, the long-term planning and kind of what it's going to take to keep our stuff in the current shape that it is. You know, little by little, we spent, you know, less on some of these things, and at some point that stuff will catch up with you, and you either have to decide, you know, what you're going to try to start cutting services, or how, you know, you just try to manage the dollars you can the best you can. But, you know, that long-term plan and, you know, that comp plan is going to be helpful for that portion of it, because, you know, that just kind of ties in with that. And, but yeah, no, he's doing great. Just, yeah, excited that he's here. Just a truly a benefit for us. So
That's excellent.
That's what we were hoping.
yeah.
Take that picture with you if you want us for that landfill. We wave this one.
Oh, okay.
If that'll help you.
Sure. Yep, thank you. All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Right.
So we want to take a break. Come back at 10:37.
Hey, give me a break.
Okay.
We got lucky today.
Okay. from our break, so we wanna do these first, or what do we wanna do? These when we come back?
Well, when you come back, I have sort of a impromptu, request for an executive session for non-elected personnel, so. We
Okay.
can wait, can take all that up at the same time.
Okay, all right, well, I guess the commission's gonna go do a walkthrough of the new building.
So, and the reason and the purpose is the keys to the building are basically being turned over to the county, so, to go through and see if there are any issues, make sure you don't see anything that you flag as being, something that needs to be addressed. So that's what the walkthrough is for. Myself and probably more so Tom and the sheriff's side has gone through, especially on the jail, and identified issues that need to be addressed and are still being addressed. But as of, I guess, today, or Tom will probably be able to tell you, it's being turned over to the county. So
Okay.
that's what the purpose of this walkthrough is. So my suggestion is you keep the tape rolling, and during this time, you will be walking through and acting still as the board, so that if there's anything that you identify or have concerns with, then you bring back and you mention once you take these seats back.
Okay. Well, I guess we're ready to go do that, guys?
Yeah. We'll leave the camera on. We're gonna leave the camera on.
Oh, okay.
We'll walk through the jail. Walking out that door, we talk over and switch off.
weekend. They didn't give us enough furniture and stuff, so we're going around making more people that. Like our scanning room and stuff.
You get a person come in every day, clean, mop it, vacuum.
Well, I'll see you in August.
we hold it pretty briefly.
Do you want to try the steps?
Oh, well, I can get down there.
I hadn't got those all the locks aren't working yet, though, we got out.
Still on?
Why's the light not on?
Well, the switch is on. Hopefully it's recording.
Yeah, I'm not seeing, usually the green light's on.
Now it's on.
Huh. Now it's
Now it's
on.
on. It's like there's a loose connection.
There's a short. But hopefully it recorded the entire time.
It was on, right?
Well, the switch was on, but the light was off. And it pushed up on the switch a little harder, and the light came on. So hopefully it was recording. If not, then we have to look into that before next week.
We escaped, forgot I locked the door.
Tom tried to keep us.
They didn't lock you in there?
We tried, but we broke.
They didn't give you any sample?
They locked us out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Didn't even start.
Steve's self has come a long way.
Yeah, it has. Looks pretty good.
I can give maybe a brief summary since I took notes.
Yeah.
So this was a jail tour, I guess the entire building tour. Tour was with Sheriff Johnson and Under Sheriff Eric Smith. The full board entered the building at 10:41 and went through the entire downstairs area first, admin for the sheriff, then the jail itself. Second floor, made way up the stairs at 11:36 and ultimately left the building at 12:08 p.m. During the tour, no action was taken, no motions were made, no discussion regarding any action to be taken by the board. It was a full tour description by the sheriff of each room, what it's for, the purpose and intent behind the room. So that was the tour. Did I accurately summarize that?
You did. It was a nice tour.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I think, once again, it was pointed out that there's two doors from the in every spot in the jail that would have to be breached. It's double security. It's something that stands out in my mind for the public to be aware of. It's going to be a very safe facility.
For inmates,
Yeah, for inmates.
for lack of better wording, it will be the most secure and safe location probably in the entire county for inmate population.
When we do this,
Yeah, we have to do it now.
we are good. Okay.
Because
Okay.
it makes so.
So just write like a regular, okay, all right.
Well, if everybody's okay with it, I guess Amelia'd like to visit with us for a second. So we won't set her and hold her up.
Oh, yeah. How are you?
Doing well. So it's related to the budget, for the mental wellness board. So, just a little recap with, some of the previous commissioners. The mental wellness board, the original, fund came from its own department, 098. And currently, there's $303,217.39 in that. And then at the beginning of, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, they opened up a new, fund under a general fund, and that's the 039. And there's currently $649,275 in that. So, I mean, I wasn't here for all of the discussions on why, they separated those two, or made another fund under general. But I was wondering if maybe we could just transition back to the 098, because that one will roll over every year.
So there's two different funds, is that correct?
Yes. And we've been functioning out of the 039 for 2025.
And the other fund is 098.
Yes.
What's the reason for so much money in that, in those two funds?
So
I know
the,
one that you're talking about.
yeah, so the 098, that was one that would roll over every year, and that began in 2017, I believe.
When that board was created.
And so there was a total of 883,000 and some change in that. And so 600,000 of that was transferred out to help lower the mill levy. In 2024, yeah, 2023, 2024.
Yeah. Something like that.
Is that done last year?
Something was done last year.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe we just split it up last year. But I think, and I even questioned why it was being put in the general fund, because if they do have money left over, it can just roll over and they can use that and may not have to budget again, or they might have to budget. But I think for what they're trying to do, it would be a good idea to let them have their own fund and not, because at the end of the year, anything that's in general, I'm going to transfer out, or you guys are going to transfer out.
So the 098 can roll over, is that correct? And that's for,
And that was the original.
and that was the original.
And then the 039 was just added, I believe, for this year of 2025. And it was requested that we were to use from that, we as in the Senate Wellness Board.
So you just want to merge both of them together?
No, so I guess I was wanting to propose that, we maintain, 25,000 in the 039 and maintain the 303, 21739 and the 098 and continue to function, revert back to functioning out of the 098.
And leave how much in it?
The 098 was already in there.
Pardon?
Was already in there, the 303.
Zero.
As long as there isn't any issues with that. So we have that fund that rolls over, and then whatever you guys want to do with the 624, 275, and the 039.
But you want to keep 25,000 in the 039.
Yeah, just because we have some pending
Right.
transactions in it, yeah.
So
And
no,
they'd have another 600,000.
Yeah, that's what I was, you know.
That's where we're, yeah.
And that's going to be, and that's going to be sufficient, you think, to,
For 25,000 in the 039?
yes?
Yes,
And
because
then-
we would still have access to the 098, the 303,000,
And that's, okay.
and then in 2026, there will be 250 added, 250,000 added to the 098.
Okay. And
so
that's,
if you recall last week when the sheriff was here, there was a conversation about these accounts on Thursday morning.
yeah,
Time runs together, so I've not had a chance to talk with Amelia to catch her up, but the issue was, these accounts were discussed, and then, as you recall, that both of us are not decision makers, but what happens with these funds needs to, we need to be careful with this. There's requests made that would, and I think if I remember right, I said somewhere in the neighborhood of $200,000, that will be brought to the board for a recommendation. So I don't have my notes from what happened, but it dealt with,
This is your new list.
it dealt with the budget and what those amounts would be, and you guys were trying to make decisions with the auditor on what those accounts would look like, so I'd have to go back and probably watch the tape to remember exactly what was said last week's report.
Yeah, so for the potential 200,000, the Slade is discussing are the potential funds that, will be utilized in 2025, beginning of 2026, and it's actually $171,200. But if we maintain the 098 at the 303,000, that would cover till the end of the year.
And then you're budgeting the 250,000 thousand
For twenty
would be
twenty-two.
in 0982.
To the 098.
You're not cutting yourself real tight here, are you?
I guess that's my concern is that
You keep
this,
those
this,
funds there.
this is, this is,
I think that's where the discussion occurred last week about what the request would be for next year, the 250, and if that could be adjusted at all. And I think, if I remember right, there was a proposal related to that, but I don't remember what it is. It may have been instead of 250, 200, but I'd have to go back and find those notes. I don't have them here. Going back in time, the original request was to put all of the $800 and some thousand into the general fund to help balance things for revenue neutral, with the idea that if the board needed to, the mental health board needed to access those funds, they would be available in that account. Now, that may be simple to talk about, but in theory, it may be more complicated, and having the mental health board knowing what money is available to fund projects that are discussed is really why having the rollover makes sense. So it's a running amount that can be tapped into. Originally, when that board was created, it was going to be up and running, and at the time when I think they were getting ready to ramp up and make decisions, COVID hit, and then nothing happened, and the board was dormant for a period of time up until Amelia came on board, and then it got ramped back up, and now it's been meeting on a regular basis. So why that money sat idle, that's the reason why. But there are a number of requests throughout the county to utilize those funds for mental health purposes.
So I don't think that, we will be cut short on utilizing the 098 for the 303,000
Okay.
for this year, and then adding the 250 to that for next year. Since that money will roll over.
tell me again on 039, how much is in that?
649,275, but we do have some pending transactions, but I think
25,000
25,000
would
will
be
cover
sufficient
that.
to cover
Mhm.
that.
And so transfer to whatever you guys deem necessary to move that 624,275 from the 039.
And leave 25,000 in it.
Yes, because we have,
You have some things going on right now that needs to be covered, is that right?
yes, and then, like, moving forward, we would just utilize the 098 as long as you guys approve. So that would free up over 600.
600,000.
Yeah. If you guys decided to do anything like that.
Yeah, as long as you don't shortchange yourself, I mean, that's the only concern.
As long as you're okay.
Yeah, as long as you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because next year we'll start the year off with over 500,000 in the 098, so I think that will cover.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
That will help.
Good planning on your part. You share that with the other department heads.
What?
Share that with the other department heads to come up with those pleasant.
You're bringing us good news.
Oh, you're welcome. But yeah, and I mean, we have the potential to use 171,200 for funding requests from the mental wellness board.
And that would come out of that 098.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do we need to make a motion for to do any of that, or?
If it's transferring funds, I think
We're not transferring any funds though, we're just gonna leave the funds in 098 there. And then we're gonna use the 624,000 to put toward 2026 budget. so I give you another
So it will stay in the general.
So that
Yeah, it will
just,
just stay. I mean, it'll stay there for now, but they'll use it probably as cash or something.
whatever, but
Yeah.
those numbers would be plugged into.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the budget.
Right,
26.
okay.
Okay.
And I feel like for what they're doing, I think there was a little confusion last year because I think you want to see being how they're set up, similar to like, well, just the health department in general. They know how much money they have. It stays in their fund. And I think there was confusion that this money they have now would just roll over. It will not, because it's in general.
In the old 39.
Yes.
But the old 98, that's what rolls over then
It will
and stay in
yeah,
your department. Okay.
So, I mean, it could potentially grow again, you know, like when
Which
we
is-
had the 800,000, but
Which is fine, but it'd just be in one,
it'd be in that one fund that you could see,
yeah.
you know, because like I said, if it's in the general, it will not stay in their department.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna transfer out everything except whatever cash carryover is for the general. So I think it would be much more clearer and,
I don't think you're gonna see it grow the way that it did because the board is active.
Right. But that's what it's there for, is to use for that specific purpose.
but I'm just saying if they didn't use it all one year and they budgeted, you know,
They could grow that way.
it could grow a little
Right.
bit, yeah.
Yeah. Because your plans are to offer more services, do different things, so.
We have more providers in the area.
Because the need's always there.
Yeah, because, so I did pull the county rankings. So it's just county rankings for the state of Kansas, and they have individual numbers for Coffee County. I don't have the numbers with me, I didn't bring it up here, but we are on the lower end for mental health services, whether it's having providers or facilities or just assistance in general. We're quite a bit lower than the state average.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
And I can send that data over to you guys if you would like.
Definitely will help.
Great.
You guys have any other questions or?
I would like to see that recorded. Just make your way back up here sometime, nothing rushing.
Can you just,
See where we're
can
at.
you just email it?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No, thanks for the work.
Thank you. And then I'm working on regional stuff, so. So might have some news with that. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's all we need to do, Angie, is just,
So that puts you a little bit closer to.
I think so, if everything, so now, just to recap again, what we're gonna do is, we're doing the full 1% on all departments that have given me theirs, except for sheriff and jail and not district court. And then, we're gonna incorporate the GIS money, which is, 538,000. And now we're gonna use 624,000. And then we're gonna put the $100,000 in interest.
and then the 1% is like 59.
Well, it's probably a little more than that because some departments did a little more.
Sure.
And then I also got Road and Bridge to do 1% and Noxious Weed.
Okay,
So it's gonna be a little bit more than the
Okay.
59,000.
Okay.
So with that, and then,
Whatever we decide to do with the GIS money.
well, yeah, I've already asked Emily to put that in,
Yeah.
so we can see what it
just
looks like.
so we can see what it was.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have, 1.1 million just with GIS and
Or
the mental health.
Yeah.
close to,
Yeah.
Especially if that 59, if that,
A little more than 59. Yeah.
the only question I have is on the 538,000 as far as,
Yeah.
and well, we've got it in the community improvement reserve, I mean, that,
So, I mean, Emily sent me the budget, the working workbook, copy we were using the other day. And without the GIS and without the mental health money, we're at 55.880, and that's without the 100,000 in interest. So, I'm not sure where she would want to put those other items, so I haven't put those in. So.
Close if we do all of it.
And if I just plug it in somewhere just to see what it does, like if it's cash, it comes up to 54.101.
wow.
And that's putting in 1.2, which is 600, the 500, and the 100.
Yeah.
Oh, the 500, the 600, and the 100.
But I want to make sure, that's what it says
Sure.
first, but
So-
that's me.
We want to send that in, if everybody agree that we take all those things off that we just talked about
Yeah,
and have her recalculate.
yeah.
That's what I'd like to see.
I would too, I'd like to see the numbers and then.
It's gonna get us really close.
So we're at 55.877 right now.
Without
That's
those
just the
numbers.
1%, without those other three, yeah.
That's just the 1%.
0.887, or I'm sorry, 0.877.
And that's just the 1%. And what was that at, Angie, tell me again?
55.877.
I put it on here, I'm gonna throw it away someday.
Hopefully we won't need it too much
I
longer.
don't know,
July.
I know. But just for reference
I
back,
know.
because I can't remember.
So we still have several weeks before we have to notify the county clerk about the,
No, I've already sent the notification to me
okay,
because you're still gonna exceed R&R.
right, we are.
That's not gonna change.
Right.
And so even if you drop down the mill levy, it's okay, because you're still gonna exceed R&R.
That's why I didn't know if we had to do something as a board or you you just do it as?
Yeah, that's all it's sent to me, and then we sent the budget hearing date for August,
Good.
yeah, that's right, August 25th.
9:15.
I think it's 9 o'clock, I guess.
And that's, and that's August the 15th.
25th.
I'm sorry. Go back over.
So, I mean, we've got time to get this worked through, so, but we're not gonna get to Connor.
So, do we have a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the CP2 effective June 17th, 2025, and accept the resignation? You can look at it here if you guys want to. We talked about it.
Make a motion.
Oh, I'll second.
Then put it. Been moved and seconded. Let's see if everybody needs to look at that. Moved by Avondale, seconded by Terry, correct? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go. So, you said you had a
Executive session.
executive session?
Before we do that though, I have another issue I want to bring out before I forget. So currently the county leases, rents a 3-yard trash container from Republic. And that's immediately to the south of the building, so if you drive by, they come and pick that up 3 times a week. The monthly fee for that is somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 a month. Does that sound right?
I thought she said 325 or something.
Maybe that's right. With the new facility opening, and maybe most importantly, with food being cooked on site, the 3-yard container is not going to be big enough.
Okay.
So I talked to Republic last week, and they no longer have 3-yard containers because what we talked about doing was duplicating what we have. They either have a 2 or a 4. So Mike was there, and I had him on speakerphone, just trying to sort of see what the options were. One of the options is to get a 6-yard container, double the current capacity, and put it right outside the Sally Port where they have more space, and then have everybody fill up that same one, and that ends up being between around $450 a month.
Oh.
So I need to know if there's any opposition to that. I've run it by the sheriff, talked to Craig Marshall, because that would be right across from the daycare. I think it'll work, but I don't want to lose the 3-yard container unless that's a firm yes by everybody. The other option is to get two 4-yards, but that's going to be more expensive. I think we double the capacity by getting a 6-yard, and then
That would be adequate, you're thinking.
Lower the cost of it.
Right.
yeah, it's a dumpster.
It's not a roll-off.
No.
Have you checked on pricing from other solid waste companies?
I have not. I was trying to get something going before we
This
run out
is
of time.
Republic is who we have now.
That's who, yeah. This will hold 42 30-gallon trash bags. It's,
And they'll still do that 3 times a week then?
yes. So I can check and get quotes if you want from others.
I guess if we need to get into it and it's not enough, then we can address it then, you know, we can find out what the flow will be from the kitchen and everything there. Gonna be quite a bit of stuff, I would
It's
say.
one of those variables that we don't know
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Like
I will build that, there's still probably gonna be quite a bit of trash, as they're unpacking things and debris from all of that, that they're not gonna wanna keep
Yeah.
around, so.
Yeah, so we may have a surge for a while.
And they sent you the dimensions, didn't they?
I've got it right here.
Did you ever get a chance to get out there and see if it would fit wherever you was wanting to?
I've eyeballed it, and I think it'll fit. It doesn't seem, it seems like there's plenty of space out there.
I know one of the things we talked about was moving that dumpster down a little bit so the trash trucks didn't have to back up and turn on that asphalt and roll it up. And that was one of the concerns about moving it a little further down there so it has a bigger turning radius.
Yeah.
Who's concerned about tearing the asphalt up with it?
So we don't want to feel that.
It'll mean walking a little further, especially taking trash out of this building, because they go out the east doors, walk around. One of the things that was purchased on the other side is a Rubbermaid four-wheel cart that pulls actually quite a bit. What they were using was a table, and they load trash up on a table and take 3 or 4 loads. And they don't need to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah. These
So-
up the bigger wheels.
That buggy is being tested on the other side to see if it meets the needs of what they're doing, and then the request would be to potentially do the same thing on this side. And instead of making 3 or 4 trips out to the trash, they can make one single load. Most of the time, that probably won't be as big of an issue, but if it's raining or snowing or inclement weather, they need to be treated fairly as well. So,
Yeah, something with bigger wheels, if you rolling anything with any weight to it, makes a huge difference how hard it is to move.
this thing rolls pretty well. Now, they're pricey to get one that's decently constructed, but they're gonna try the one out over there, and if they like it, then I'll come back to you and see if you'd be willing to purchase one for this building.
Okay. See how it works out. That sounds good to me.
Me too.
So go with the 6-yard or investigate further.
I'd just go with the 6-yard.
We don't have a contract with Republican right now, do we?
Not that I'm aware of. And there's some sort of agreement with the county for the existing, but I'm sure it's,
That is renewable yearly, or if there even was one.
Might be worth checking just to keep them honest, I guess.
Oh, there's another motion. Okay.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, that, you want to check on another one, or I don't know who else is even,
I think at least Mary does, Steve's trash, and I don't think they have the capability of doing something. I don't know if they could do that many days in a week,
Yeah.
because they run some, but they are.
that's the big thing, is that they're doing it 3 times a week now, and
I suggest that we give you the authority where you can work with both ways and find out what's best.
Yeah, me
We're
too.
gonna have to get rid of one way or the other.
and for Wayne just to make that
Absolutely.
decision. Yeah,
That's fine with me.
yeah.
This Friday meeting's at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Ribbon cutting?
Suit and tie.
If you prefer. No. Sure you stand out of my getting.
I'm sure, but I'm not a suit and tie type of guy.
I think they're handing out striped shirts or something.
The orange ones, yeah, you wear your orange shirt.
Yeah, they're color coded, aren't they?
Yeah.
pick your poison.
Yeah, that
This
makes
is the, Harlan, the cost is $6,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then circle as submitted. But after you guys make a motion.
Okay. Wonder if we get a motion to approve the 2026 district court budget as submitted and authorize and direct the chairman to sign the same.
I'll make that motion.
What is their budget?
$242,112.06.
13.
So that was in here already?
Yeah.
I saw it the other day.
Did you make the motion?
McCurry
I
did.
did.
I'll second it.
Abendroth has seconded. Do we have further discussion? You guys wanna wait a second or?
Were they able to pull a percent out of theirs?
I did not ask them to, just like we did for the sheriff and jail, because there's unknown costs and stuff like that, so I thought we'd probably just treat them the same way as we did sheriff and jail. If you're okay with that, I guess.
Anything, Todd? Aye. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, so you say I need to circle as submitted here? Okay.
Date.
717. Okay. And, do we have a motion to approve the 2026 Lake Region Solid Waste Authority as submitted and authorize and direct the chairman to sign the same? So that is 35,000, correct?
No, 5,000 is our part. 5,000, there's 7 counties.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's
So
where there's
5,000 is Coffee
several
County's
counties
portion.
are together, right?
I'll make that motion.
Then moved by Barker,
I'll second.
McCurry is seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
You can just sign.
On this where it says county here, or
No.
on name? Okay. Try to sign that where they can tell we signed it. Okay, did you have anything else for us in round table, or you wanna do your executive session?
All I have is the executive session, 10 minutes, non-elected personnel, job performance.
Okay.
I'm getting it added here.
That's okay. For how long, Ray?
10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay, I'll move to enter into executive session for 10 minutes to include each of the commissioners and county councilor Wade Bowie to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel related to job performance under Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 754319B1.
Second.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go in at 12:56.
No crap. Thank you for being here.
No action being requested.
Okay. So is that all you had then, your roundtable with?
That's all I have.
Okay. Bob?
I don't have any. Yeah, I attended the hospital board meeting last week. And, I think they're on the track anyway, so. And, planning on going to Leroy City Council today.
Okay.
I saw in their minutes that I just read a few minutes ago, they have some properties they're gonna
Yeah, I think,
potentially.
I sent that
yeah,
letter out to
Angie
y'all.
sent out a,
Did you get it, Reed? Or did I give it to?
they were recommending to the commissioners that, go ahead and sell the Leroy Medical Building, former Leroy Medical Building, and then Swan Hill Road.
Okay. Okay.
We should have a letter, we got an email on it anyway. She sent a letter. Yeah.
So there's a process under that resolution that will have to be followed. I don't know if you're wanting to deal with a realtor or how you want to deal with that process or request assistance from Cameron Rock or however you want to do it. But
It doesn't need to happen right away, because they have to find, storage space
Okay.
versus items.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss.
I was satisfied with what we did last time, if everybody else was, and I don't know how long
I
this,
have talked to Cameron.
okay.
I've talked to Cameron about all three of those buildings, Maribel's and those two, and he's very receptive to doing it.
Okay, well, I don't know if he still wants to maintain his free services, but.
He said we could definitely discuss it, he would be open.
It was, definitely appreciated last time, that's for sure.
I think if you give them too much time though to get their stuff out, they may drag it out.
Right. So.
But that's up to them.
so,
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess ultimately it is, I guess.
yeah, I mean,
I was under
because
the impression there wasn't much in the Leroy building, is what I was told.
but the one,
I think there's just some equipment, I believe, but then,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of things to store.
Yeah.
Because they were using that for storage up here.
right,
okay. That all you got, Mark?
That is all I have.
Okay, Mike?
Mark covered mine, the building's there. The only other thing I hope we can get our contract downtown to the Maribel building, so we get that finished and get rid of that. I'll see if he shows up this week. If not, I'll reach out to him.
that's on the,
On that
on the
front
brick,
of it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'd like to get that wrapped up and done. And other than that, Mark took all mine.
Okay.
No, you're
Oh,
we could do
nothing.
together.
I don't have nothing.
Okay, well, I don't either. Well,
I
so,
got a couple.
Angie?
Okay, so, we have 405 New Year's Show, is that Maribel's Way?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, we owe taxes for 3 years, what are we supposed to do with that? Because it showed up on the, change order, and then I think Richard talked to Casey about it. So, you want me to just get this to you?
I think, so my understanding is when you own property like that, you have to pay the taxes, so I think we just
or pay it?
Pay it.
Okay,
I think we've had to pay taxes on the north property as well.
okay. We just didn't know what to do. We'll pay it.
Generates revenue.
That's not quite as good as it being back on the tax roll, but is it?
No.
The county's paying it.
Okay.
All of them.
Exactly.
4 of them.
I got a CFS engineers sent to me from Rhonda, and I wanted to bring that up here earlier today, but she got away from me too soon. She said, here's the extractor, we paid the $1,200 the other day, so I guess $6,800 is due. And I think I brought this up to you last week.
You did.
3 times now.
So, should I just have her come in,
We were just supposed to pay for it.
no more than 40 hours? I feel like she needs to talk to you about it.
Yeah, because what portion, the school has a portion,
Right.
and we were going to pay up and,
I thought you guys
Was
were
it
gonna
half?
split it in half.
Yeah, we're gonna pay half up to, and I think I said 4,000 before, but it may have been 8,000. We need to go back and minutes.
We need to go back.
It was
I
like
can't think what the total-
8,000 when they had the water study and having it platted. But I think it's already been platted, so it should have deducted it in half. At 8,000, 2 more than 4.
Okay.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was, in my mind, I thought you guys said you were gonna pay half of it, and the school was gonna pay the other half, but you wouldn't go more than 4,000.
I can't remember
What I
when,
thought.
I can't
I
remember
don't
when
know.
that was done, was that in March?
Whether it was 8,000 for our half, I can't.
So, okay, I'm gonna have her come back in.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna have her come back in.
I thought we had it in the minutes.
And I thought I asked her that, but maybe I didn't. Okay, and then the only other thing is,
We do, because you made the motion and I
I made
seconded
the
it,
motion.
and I can't remember what the number was.
Because it was projected at 16,000, and they wanted us to do all of it, and I said we would do half.
Half,
So maybe the 8,000 is correct.
I think,
What you're thinking.
And so that would put, well, that's right, but half of what they were wanting to do has already been done. So that should cut it in half again.
oh, I see what you're
Instead
saying.
of 4,000.
Right, the original motion was to do half of the, which was 16,000, which
Yeah.
would have been 8, so part of it's already done, correct?
Right. It's been plotted.
Okay,
Might be some good questions for her.
no, it is, because I can remember the day, or I can't remember the
They wanted us to do all of
all of it, and I wasn't comfortable with that.
Maybe we can go back and look in the minutes and see some specific.
Yeah,
well, it'll give me time to do that, if I have her come in next week.
that's fine.
Okay.
And then the other thing, which, on the airport access road, so I went back and pulled the minutes earlier last week because, Garrett Nordstrom had contacted me about phase 2 and them SSM needing a parking lot, a clean parking lot because of the products they're making. They didn't need all the dust and stuff around there, so Garrett was applying for another grant and running it concurrently with the second phase of
Oh, okay.
of the road, and he thought that they would probably get that grant. So in November 4th of last year, the board approved $466,534.80. And with adding that parking lot, it would still come in under what Garrett had said the total would probably be like 1.5 or something like that with the county's portion and the state's portion. So he said total, the county's probably looking at around $780,000. Our part, aside from the state. But, like I said, you guys didn't determine, not all of you, because not all of you were here when I say you guys, the board did not determine at that time where they were going to pay for the project.
And that's on that second phase, isn't it?
What
The
fund?
whole thing, the whole thing. It wasn't decided even for the $466,000.
Where the money was coming from.
Right.
But we did decide to do that.
You agreed to accept the bid from Kilo Construction in the amount of $466,534.80 for the airport access road for SSM project. But it didn't say where you're gonna pay it from.
But that came out of that grant, did it not? Well, that,
CDBG grant.
that
So
came
that's
out
where
of that
that-
grant.
Because if I remember right, he said there was some extra left over out of that grant, he was trying to apply for the second part of that road.
You're talking the first phase, and so that was taken care of by that CD.
It was
BG.
a $750,000 grant, and when the bids came in, they were lower than what was anticipated for phase one. So that 400 and whatever it was the kilo bid. And then the remainder of that, the request was, well, either you use it or lose it. So they were gonna go back to Commerce and request that the rest of, the balance be applied to phase two.
To the second.
And then with the county being responsible for whatever the difference would be.
Okay,
So that's my understanding of the,
yeah.
I think that's right.
Okay, so we'll just
So
hold that.
basically, phase one was paid for entirely by
Right, but,
CDBG grant.
right, and there was some left over there that was going to be applied to the,
And well, he had to apply to see if it was permissible to use it on the second phase. I don't think we've heard back from him, the outcome of that.
yeah, I thought we did. Because that second phase has already been,
Engineer?
I think he's been going back and forth with Commerce, is what I understand, and whether it was gonna be a change order or set out for a new
You're
bid
probably right.
altogether.
Okay,
That's all I have.
okay. All right, what's everybody think? A wrap? Okay, well, I guess we'll adjourn at 1:18. Thank you all.